for fiscal year 25, the rate is proposed at 0.1033 per $100 of assessed value, which will generate an estimated $387,167 this fiscal year. This is a slight increase in revenue from the previous fiscal years due to new construction. The rate was adjusted slightly lower in 25 due to an increase in valuation of taxable property. So the actual dollar amount paid by citizens in fiscal year 25 will be the same as what they pay in 24. So for this proposed new rate, the city is not required to publish a truth in taxation notice for the property tax levy, and I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Questions, comments? Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. We'll proceed to our new business. Item number 5, discussion of resolution 2024-050. Mrs. Elena be here. Sir, would you want to take that?
Hey, Mr. Mayor,
No,
we still have item number 4.
Item 4.
Oh, item 4. I am so sorry. Resolution 2024-049, final budget for fiscal year 24-25. Ma'am.
So following the public hearing, the resolution before the council for Thursday is the adoption of the fiscal year 2024-2025 operating budget for the city, the final amount being $172,359,341. There have been no changes since the tentative vote on June 27, 2024. The tentative budget, as well as all state budget forms, have been posted on the city's website, and to date, we have not received any public comments from anybody from the community. So for the final step in the budgeting process, council will meet on August 8th, 2024 at 5 p.m. to vote on the primary property tax levy for fiscal year 24-25.
Questions, comments? None. All right, thank you so much. Sorry about
Thank
that
you.
oversight.
That's okay.
Go to item number 5, resolution 2024-050 for the bond.
Mr. Mayor?
Hey, there's Mr.
There he
Sullivan.
is.
There you go, sir. How are you?
Ready to jump in.
I'm good, sir. I don't know if my camera isn't working or if it's just not showing, but thank you for having me virtually today again at your work session. I am talking today about the resolution 2024-5050. This is a bond resolution authorizing education facility revenue bonds for American Leadership Academy. This is in the amount not to exceed $250 million. It is, board members may recall that, or city council members may recall that you already approved one issue for American Leadership Academy last year, and the Sierra Vista IDA issued its bonds in the amount of $141 million last year. This is a second issue. It will be again using the same indenture, same loan agreement, each one with a supplement, but it is for one school that they are currently leasing and are operating out of that leased school, but that they wish to buy, and then a second facility that they are in the middle of finishing up so they can get it ready for the school year this year. Again, I'm happy to answer any questions. This would be a public offering because of the size. But again, as previously indicated, neither the city nor Sierra Vista IDA are obligated in a financial way on these bonds, and in fact, neither credit it can be pledged or is pledged for the bonds.
Okay. Questions, comments for Mr. Solana? No questions coming. Thank you, sir. And we'll
Thank you. I look forward to seeing you on Thursday.
safe drive down, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right, proceeding to item number 6, resolution 2024-051, staff report. Ms. Yarborough.
Thank you, Mayor McCaw. So the city, the county, and the Huachuca 50 have shared the expenses for a Washington, D.C. consultant for a number of years now. And our most recent one, our most recent intergovernmental agreement with Cochise County was last adopted in 2019. So this is simply renewing the intergovernmental agreement with Cochise County that specifies the details of this relationship, that we agree to share the expenses for the common purpose of promoting retention and expansion of missions on Fort Huachuca. And we can do that best by hiring a consultant who is in the Washington DC area. The city and county both pay $27,000 a year. Huachuca 50 currently contributes $6,000 a year. And we've had a contract with the firm Corrigan Ussery, and specifically with Joe Corrigan, for a number of years now, and he's done a great job for us. The contract itself is not up for renewal. The contract, we are still under contract. This is simply the intergovernmental agreement with the county that says we have this relationship and we'll split these costs. And this relationship has worked very well. I think Chuck wants to add something.
Mayor McCaw, members of the council, as the mayor is aware, we meet monthly. All the parties meet with Mr. Corrigan to discuss issues pertaining to Fort Huachuca. Of course, Congress, congressional actions, where they are in bills, those kind of things. So that has been an ongoing thing for us. This year, we're very pleased, obviously, with the work of Mr. Corrigan, because his work was instrumental in getting language in the next National Defense Authorization Act for the conveyance of the 203 acres at the airport to the city, and as well as language in there that begins the process of working towards improving the tower at Libby Army Airfield. So it's been a very fruitful relationship and very valuable to us.
Okay. Yep.
Excellent. Any questions, comments?
Thank you for filling in the blanks there for me.
Well, it's good. I think you guys need to know what goes on with that.
Yeah.
So.
All right, and we'll proceed to item number 7, Resolution 2024-052. Staff report, Mr. Felix. That was number 7. This is
Mayor, members of council, a few years back, the city entered into an agreement with Castle and Cook for the construction of the Avenida del Sol, also known as El Pueblo del Sol Interceptor. They agreed. We did a reimbursement district between the time that the reimbursement district was created, about 10 years later. Am I on the wrong one?
No. Okay. I'm just looking at the total.
Okay. And normally the developer would front the money, and through the reimbursement district, the developer would be paid back. Castle and Cook, with negotiations with the city and some other concessions given, the city fronted the money. The reimbursement district was created, but Castle and Cook guaranteed that if it was not constructed in 20 years, that they would pay the city with interest. The interest rate at that time we agreed upon was prime rate. Through the terms of the note, their connection fees never even covered the interest in a single year, actually. By about 2009, due to challenges with the reimbursement districts, the city changed its policy, and all of the interceptors are part of the system that the sewer connection fee now pays for. The consultant, Tischler Bice, came in, they updated the study to come up with new connection fees, and so through this time that it has still not been done. So what we agreed to is they would, a couple years back, when they did not pay off, they agreed to finance the interest over 10 years. They had about $900,000 of interest. They paid about $300,000 of that, so a third of that already. And then what this note does is, upon the successful conveyance of the golf course to the city, the remaining balance of that note is forgiven. It is contingent upon a transfer to the city, not some other third party, and it is based on the balance at the closing date. So if a hiccup occurs or something comes up and the closing gets delayed for a while, it'll be whatever the balance is on the day of close. Currently, it's the $600,000 that's listed in the note. We will be making that up with a general fund transfer. Hopefully, the fiscal year 24 revenues will be good enough that we can recommend taking it out of last year's revenues and be done with it. If not, we will just do it as we can afford to do the transfer every year.
Okay.
Be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Questions, comments? Ma'am?
No, I don't want to ask.
All right. Yes, ma'am.
I thought too fast.
No problem. All right. Thank you, sir. And we go to item number 8, Resolution 2024-53. Personal rules and regulations. Ms. Fleming.
I'm going
Oh,
to brief it, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, ma'am.
So thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of council. There have been a number of groups working on some proposed personnel rule changes for a little while. We've had some recommendations that came out of the employee council last year. You have a recruitment and retention team under a strategic plan goal that's been meeting regularly. And then there have been a number of just situations that have occurred that we began collecting the need for some various personnel rule changes. So this is the first batch of a few you will probably see throughout the year. Overall, relatively minor changes. What you're seeing in this batch will include, we added the definition of a domestic partner related to the final rule change where we added a domestic partner as an eligible family member to receive bereavement leave, and then changed the amount of bereavement leave to 1 week. And that was a recommendation that came out of employee council last year. We changed that the previously, if in our personnel rules, if somebody was found to have falsified anything on their employment application, they were prohibited indefinitely from ever applying for a city job ever again. And so we, again, had a situation come up where we felt that the person maybe should have been given some consideration, some time had passed, they were young, and felt that indefinitely was quite a long time when comparable organizations like Border Patrol or even how AZ Post considers certain things was 2 years, that it was appropriate to reduce that to 2 years before reevaluation. Not that everybody would immediately get considered again, but they could apply and have their application considered again. Another change that was requested came out of my and Chuck's regular meetings with the fire department senior leadership. They requested adding a mandatory holdover definition and compensation. There are occasional times when personnel coming in for the next shift where there's not enough to cover the shift, and so they have to hold over the existing shift. I talked to Chief, and in the past 6 months, this has happened 14 times. And so anywhere from 4 to 24 hours at a time. It's typically 12 hours, but what we decided to recommend was that these folks who are in a mandatory holdover situation should be treated similarly to our staff who have mandatory call-outs, where they are paid 1.5 times their rate for that call-out period of time. A mandatory holdover is a situation where they don't get the chance or the choice to go home, and so they're being held over for a significant amount of time, and so they would receive 1.5 times their pay for that mandatory holdover period. And that would be consistent with our employees who have mandatory call-outs.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
What was the purpose of, what was the reason for 14 holdovers? I mean, what was the reason for that?
Chief, if you could.
Oh, there's Chief.
Mayor Councilmember Johnson, the reason for mandatory holdover is when we have a gap in our staff and we put out overtime throughout the organization, and when nobody is able to fulfill that, then we have to hold somebody over.
Okay. So it's not just a matter of somebody not showing up
No.
for work? Okay.
No, it's based on sick leave, training, and everything else that goes on during that.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, thank you. That clarifies it.
Then the final change we're proposing, this recommendation came out of the recruitment and retention team. It would change vacation usage eligibility from 6 months to 30 days, meaning currently a new employee has to wait 6 months in order to use their accrued vacation time, where on the other hand, if they have accrued sick leave, they can use that accrued sick leave after 30 days. So in order to make it consistent with sick leave, we're proposing changing both to 30 days. We also see more and more the situation where employees are coming into our employment and they may have a vacation schedule, they may have something come up that they can't avoid. They need to be out of work for whatever reason. They have accrued time, and the recruitment and retention team felt that they should be able to use that. So those are the 5 changes that we're proposing this time, and you'll see some more in the near future. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, ma'am. Any questions, comments? Thank you so much. And that will be, we have a call to the public, comments and requests of the council, and then we'll adjourn from our council meeting on Thursday. For tonight, not a lot on the schedule. Item A is the council meeting agenda for agenda items. Let me see. Guess there are none. Okay, reports on recent trips.
I don't think I've been anywhere.
For a future meeting,
Future meetings.
for a future meeting,
Yes.
so August the 7th, Wednesday at 3:30 PM, there'll be a Transportation Commission meeting up here in the conference room. So it's open to any members of the public if anybody is interested in checking it out. 3:30, be there, and we'll be happy to see you.
Excellent.
Yep.
Yes, ma'am.
And then the Arts and Humanities Culture Diversity Commission will be on August 14th at 4:30 at the Oscar Aroon Community Center. And I guess that's it. Thank you.
During any sports or recs meeting Thursday?
Yeah, I can do the Parks and Recs
Parks and
meet.
Rec.
Parks and Recreation is not meeting in the month of July,
Okay,
but they'll meet the day after the Arts, Humanities, Cultural Diversity on that Wednesday. Or, I'm sorry, they're Tuesday.
Right, on August
Your
13th.
Wednesday.
Yeah, August 13th at 5:30, also at the Oscar Aroon Community Center.
That's
That's the
correct.
Park and Recs.
all right. Yes, sir.
Also, the Environmental Stewardship Commission will be meeting August 26, 2024, at 4 PM in the conference room up here on this level.
Excellent. All right. And we also, today at 5, we have the Visitors Center rededication, ribbon cutting. Heard there was a lot of drinks and food, so we'll be going over there.
Yes.
And future discussion items and council requests, ma'am?
Thank you, Mayor McCaw. Currently, you have the executive report on your next work session. Our apologies, it was supposed to be on today, but we needed a little more time to get that together.
Okay.
I think that's it. All right. Well, that concludes our work session. 20 minutes. We're adjourned.